Hi Flosstube, I'm Sarah the Can-Am Stitcher. Thank you for visiting, and my apologies. I am a week late from the previous commitment I made indicating that I would film these every couple of weeks. My apologies. Life did get in the way, and I don't know what else I can say. I've just been really very busy, and so I have devoted some time today to do this, and I devoted a little time yesterday to actually stitching. Life got so much in the way. I have not been able to accomplish any stitching during the last few weeks except for yesterday. So that's just the way it's been. I have a couple of FFOs to show. One of them is one from yesterday, and one of them is something that I finished at the end of last year. And the reason I'm showing it is because it's just one of the projects that I've worked on since I've started back with cross stitch late last year. And I thought I would show that. It is a Prairie schooler project, and I know that a lot of people have interest in that, especially with Christmas coming around and so many people working on Christmas projects right now. What else? I have a progress to show you on another project I worked on yesterday, along with I'm going to show you my progress of unfrogging. I discovered after quite a number of stitches had been completed that I had made a mistake that actually had to be rectified, otherwise it threw the entire area that I was working on out of whack. I will show you that. I'll show you also the progress I've made with that project, and I'm going to show you another project that I have that I started a while ago but has been on the back burner, so I'm hoping to start picking it up again, as well as talk about some other projects that I plan to work on at some point in the near future. Once I have everything obtained for them, I have started collecting some of the necessary materials, so that's really exciting. And let me think, what else? That's probably about it. Who knows, something else may come to my mind as I'm moving along on this. Anyway, the first thing I wanted to show you was, let me show you the book that the FFO came from. So it's this Winds of Autumn, and those of you that have seen other videos of mine know that I worked on 5 different projects for the month of May from this book. However, this was a one-off that I worked on yesterday because it was something I had been planning on doing and thought I would do it. I wanted to try it out, and I wanted to make it in a color that would that would work with my studio. My studio color, the accent color that I love, is pink, so that's what I did. And what it was is this cute little fob here. I'm being careful because the other side of if I was to open this, would have the pattern. So it's this really cute little fob here. You'll notice when I show it to you that I made a couple of little adjustments on these little medallion pieces here. I centered them and made everything aligned just out of a desire and out of a necessity. What I did was I used some of the leftover pieces that I had from one of my projects from this book. I have 2 left to finish. I've finished 3 out of the 5 from May, not including this one that I'm going to show you. And I took a strip that was similar to this and worked with this to make the little project. The fob itself is only, let's see, the finished size was, where is it? Here we go, 1 3/4 inches square. I think mine turned out square. It's hard to tell. I worked on it. Interestingly as well, this does happen to be a Barb Adams design, and like everyone else in the cross-stitching world, I was very saddened to hear about her passing. That's my heart and sympathies go out to all of her friends, along with her partner. and her family. I know it's really tough. It's always tough to lose someone that you care about very much. And I know that everyone in our community is very grateful for everything that she contributed. And I can honestly say that I feel very fortunate to have this book that she and her partner had put together with these designs that I have quite enjoyed working on. Anyway, what I did when I made the project, so as I already showed, I took some little small piece of leftover fabric that I had. I stitched the chart and made those couple of little minor adjustments. Then I took some lightweight fusible interfacing, adhered it to the back, then I cut the piece down to size. I found some backing fabric that I wanted and also fused some of the lightweight interfacing to that. I was really fortunate that I found a piece of fabric in my quilting stash in my 2.5-inch squares that I keep. For those of you that are quilters, you may do the same thing, but what I do when I work on projects, when I have some leftover fabric, I will, if it's really a small piece or something that's just not big enough to keep on its own, what I will do is I will cut them into usable sizes, and then I keep them in shoebox size bins, and I have them all marked. So I went to one of my 2-inch, I said 2.5, but my 2-inch bin, and found a piece that I liked. So that's what I used for the backing. I adhered the lightweight fusible interfacing to that, cut it to the same size as the front, and then I sewed the two of them right sides together, leaving a small opening. Now keep in mind this is a very small project, so that opening was not very big, and the reason I mention that is after I sewed around, left an opening, I trimmed my corners and then had to turn it inside out, and that was a bit of a challenge and a struggle. I am very grateful to have some of the tools that I do. I will show a couple of the ones that were very helpful during this process, and that was some of these little, I think they're kind of surgical type tweezers, and this little beautiful wood turning edge piece. I'm not even calling it by the right name, I'm sure, that I picked up in Hawaii a few years ago. I love it. It's smooth, it's beautiful. What can I say? Hawaii is gorgeous anyway. So I turned it, and then I ran downstairs to my kitchen and looked for a small funnel. I came upstairs, I rooted through my craft boxes that I have. So I have some small craft boxes that I keep supplies in, and pulled out some crushed walnut and filled the fob with crushed walnut, sewed it together, or rather sewed the opening together and had it closed. And then I was trying to decide what I would do next, because I typically don't finish with a cording, or at least I haven't yet. And I decided that this time I would try. Now, I don't have one of those, I believe it's called a Krynic, that people use to make cording. I actually used a electronic tool with a little cup hook. So I measured out the amount of floss, taped one end, and used this to make my cording. It actually worked okay. It was an experiment. It worked out fine. I then sewed the cording around it and left enough to make a little hanger. I added a couple of little buttons to go along, and I'm really happy with it. I think it turned out very cute. Here is the finished result. You can see there's a button here, and you can see the back has this cute little button. And so yeah, I'm really, really happy with it. I think it's turned out very cute. I'm happy with the buttons as well. I was really happy that I had some buttons that were small enough that I could add them. I was looking through different embellishments that I have, including some beads and sequins, etc., and none of them jumped out to me. And then I grabbed my jar of buttons, and that's what I found. What do I have here? I've got a little piece of floss that needs to be addressed hanging out here. Anyway, when I did that, I used not any of my DMC stash or any of my overdyed stash. I actually used floss that it's called Iris, and it's something that I picked up when I was trying to learn how to do a few stitches for a crazy quilt block that I had made. So this was the color I had used, and I had enough that I was able to do the cording. One of the things that I did find out yesterday when I went to my local LNS, Stitcher's Garden, I was showing the owner what I had done, and we were talking about, I was in there to see if a pattern I had ordered had arrived yet. It's not yet in. And told her I'd made that first attempt at making some cording. And so she demonstrated. She had one of those, I'm sure I'm saying the wrong name. Anyway, she had one there, and she demonstrated it for me and showed me how beautiful the finished cording turns out. So it looks like I will end up ordering one of those. Anyway, so that is the one finished item that I have. The next one, the one from last year that I had finished, and I don't have any pictures to show any of the process for that, is from this Prairie schooler. It's called Good Saint Nick. It is book number 135. And the Santa that I did is, let's see. That one right there. I had no idea when I first started getting back into this late last year, because as for those of you that don't know, I hadn't cross-stitched in, oh gosh, a very, very long time. And when I had years ago, I'd only done a couple of projects, and that was it. Nothing since. So in essence, I'm still kind of a beginner. There's so much that I didn't know, and I've had to learn. I've been learning, of course, with a lot of gratitude for everyone's instructions that they've shared with their Floss-tube videos, all their tips and tricks and everything else. So at that time, I didn't know that Prairie Schooler Santas were such a big deal. I picked this up because I loved the look of it. I like the idea that I could make this beautiful piece here, or I could make this one, but most importantly, what I planned was to make these individual Santas so that I could make them into ornaments and then hang them. So here is my Santa. It was a lot of fun. It was, there were a few things that I learned as I worked on it, and one of the things that I've learned, not knowing certain techniques for finishing, so I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do with finishing. What I did after I had finished the piece, as you can see, I outlined, and that was for a couple of reasons, to accent it as well as to give me a guideline for the sizing. I used some, what did I use? Was it fleece? No, I used some quilting batting between this and a comic strip boarding, which is acid free, and applied that, attached it, and then decided, okay, I still need to figure out how to finish this so I can have a hoop, and I applied some felt on the back. And what I did, I wanted some additional, I don't know, a little pizzazz for it, I guess you could say. I took some of the leftover pieces that I had from when I cut it and trimmed it up, and they were literally strips, and then I started to fringe them, and then I applied a strip on each side of the fringing, and then I sewed these little beads on that I took from my stash of beads. And then after I had shown this to the owner of the store, Gathering Stitches, she showed me a really great tip if I want to have beading on the edges. And so she was telling me how you can use the foam board, wrap your project around foam board, and then you can use pins to pin in beading. She was, I think, shocked that I had taken the time to sew these all on. I don't know, or maybe she was just thought that I was definitely a beginner. Anyway, I'm really happy with how it looks. I think it's a nice little size and will be able to hang on the tree. I will likely, when I make the other ones, have a variety of finishes, just because I don't know that I'm going to attempt this one again. I am happy with it. I might do them all as kind of a pillow finish with a hanger so that they can hang easily. We'll see. Maybe I'll try different techniques so that they're all a variety. Anyway, that one, just to give you an idea, that is the designer is Pamela Bird for the Prairie Schooler Santas, and the stitch count on this was 53 high by 35 wide. I used a 32 count cream even weave. I started the project on November 1st last year and then finished it on Christmas Eve, the 24th. I used all of the called for DMCs, and so that was it. Oh, I finished stitching it November 24th. According to my book here, I actually FFO'd it on March 5th, and I did do a 2/2 on stitching. And so I'm happy to have this little book where I keep all of my notes, so I have a good reference and I'm not giving anyone misinformation. Okay, so my oops from yesterday. I am working on my Quaker Christmas piece, and I don't have the pattern in here. I'll have to go grab it and come back. One moment. Hi, I'm back. Okay, it's Quaker de Noël by Jardin Privé, and I really like it. However, I did have this oops yesterday after a lot of time, so this is my progress. And everything was fine until you can see I had this when I got to here. So I'd started down here, I was working my way around, I gotten all the way around, and I was looking and thought, why does this look off? And it wasn't obvious at first, and I think part of it was I don't know if I was tired or just so focused on trying to accomplish something. So I had to unstitch from around here. Yes, this was where my mistake was. And let me show this. This is supposed to be a line that continuously goes across. I had it up one, and that set everything off. Anyway, so I have been restitching, and then I'll unstitch, restitch, and I'll make my way back around so that I'll be able to continue. This is the part of this is that motif that I am working on. And yeah, it's been fun, but it's just a reality I'm still making mistakes, and I know some people do as well, but that's where it is. I am happy with the overall. I do love the look. I'm really happy with the color, Manor Red. It's really, I love the subtle variegation throughout it, and it's being helpful one of the other things that I found was that my little attempt at making my own needle book that was not just for holding some needles, but also to hold some little scissors and a couple of other little items, and I haven't finished putting things into it. But I've been using it more and more now, and I'm really happy with it, so I'll show you that. Oh, now as I'm undoing it, so here's the little tie that I'm just busy untying. And so there's a front and back. And this is what it looks like. So on the front, I have, for needles, I have a little pocket here for putting in any kind of item that I need to actually see through, like maybe some instructions or written information, maybe just even to keep track of my needle sizes. I have a little pocket here. I have these little slots. I have some floss in here, as you can see. I have a threader, my little scissors, and the back side is similar to the front, except for I reversed these, and again another little pocket. So this was constructed off of a variety of videos and websites that I visited looking for ideas on how to make something. And so really what I did was I combined some of those ideas as well as came up with some of my own techniques. And so yeah, I've been happy with it and all tied together. And of course you'll notice that little theme here with the color, but I'm happy with it. The other project that I mentioned that I wanted to show is one that I started a little while ago. My sister, the Happy Stitching Nurse, she purchased it for me for Christmas, and she has it for herself as well. It's an ink circles pattern. It's called Reflections of Canada. I really love it. She sent me the pattern, she sent me the floss and the material. And what I did then was I had made a bag just for this project, which I am very happy with this bag. The colors, of course, you'll see. So here's my bag. And I added, of course, a little cute little bob onto it. I'm really happy with it. I love it. I keep all of the materials in here. So my pattern, I even have a little pre-made informational piece that I will put all of the information about the pattern, the floss, etc. on here. I'll include my start date, the last stitch, and then when I FFO it, because I do know that I will frame it and have it hanging, so this will go in the back of that frame. I keep the floss in this little plastic bin here, which I'm opening. That's what you can hear. And the reason I do that, even though it's in a bag, is because it is Dinky Dye's silk, which is, for those of you who have stitched with it, you'll understand what I mean when I say this. It's like stitching with butter. Oh my gosh, it is divine, divine. I have learned that when you stitch with this, you don't want to have a lot of calluses or any roughness on your hands, because that will catch on the silk. So I have the silk here. I keep it in. And I just really wanted to protect it, which is why I keep it in this little case, and then it goes, of course, into the bag. So let me show you the progress that I have on that. And here it is. It's not a lot, but it's something, and I'm happy with it. I'm really excited and looking forward to working on this some more. I already know where it will be. It will be in my loft. My home kind of has little tribute areas throughout it. My loft space is very much a tribute to Canada and British Columbia, which is where I'm originally from. And then other parts of my home have tributes to New Mexico. So this will definitely be in my loft, and I'm very happy with it. I love it. Of course, I keep my photocopy that I mark up as I'm making progress on this in here. So all of this is kept in my little bag. I love these bags. I'll have to look up and tell you the name of the person whose pattern and tutorial I've been using. It's someone else who's on Flosstube, and her tutorial was perfect. It's very, I found it very easy to follow along. I really liked the way she did it. I liked all of the tips that she provided, and it was easy enough that I was able to do it. I was afraid to sew with any vinyl before that, and as my sister can attest, I have had a challenged relationship with zippers in the past, although she walked me through with making some zippered bags when she was visiting a few years ago. So other than that, the other thing, of course, I still have my temperature tree. I'm working on that. I am also in the process of getting all of the materials needed to work on the Holt flea market flowers. I have been coveting that pattern for a while and finally made the plunge and picked up my floss. Yay, look at all those colors. They are just so beautiful. There is one that I need to get, one color that was out of stock anyway. I'm really happy. I think it's going to look beautiful. Then I need to decide what size I want to get it in, and I have to have the pattern ordered and arrive. So once that happens, boy, I don't know, I'm gonna have to come up with some kind of a plan on how I'm going to juggle my projects so that I don't end up with too many at one time, because that will grieve me out. I feel like when I have too many, then I end up neglecting something, and I don't want to feel that way. And I also don't want to get into a trap that I haven't finished a project, that it keeps getting pushed to the side. That's happened with some of my quilting projects, and I am trying to get to those and finish them as well. I have been working earnestly on some of the, well, I had been working earnestly on those. I need to get back to some of those as well and get them finished, because I feel, I just like with cross stitch, I always love that feeling after you've finished completed it, nothing left to do. I love that feeling. The other thing I did was, this is something my sister has shown that she's working on. It was the gift that I got for her birthday, which was Jenn Farish's America Len the Len that we love. Jenn had a sale on that because of Independence Day, and so I decided, okay, I'm gonna get that one, and that will be a future project. I purchased the pattern. I haven't purchased anything else yet. I'm giving some thought as to the size that I would like to make it, and then I will put together the floss and decide what color of fabric I would like and what count. I did, of course, reach out to my sister and ask her what size she was using. I couldn't recall, and what color. I know she really likes the fabric that she purchased. So that's that. What else? I think that's about it. It's probably quite a bit. And I just want to say thank you, everyone. And give a shout out again to my sister, the Happy Stitching Nurse. Oh, and there's one other person I want to give a shout out to today. I didn't do enough preparatory work before sitting down to do this video, because I knew if I didn't do it, it might not have been accomplished today. Mommalovesyougb, I believe it is now. I'm probably butchering it. Anyway, I watched her most recent video this morning, and she had a clergyman giving a saying that was in a Welsh piece of cross stitch. And so he was very generous and kindly recorded how it was said in Welsh and then as well as in English. It's a piece from the Bible. And I just want to give a call out. Number one, I enjoy her videos, but secondly, oh my gosh, I don't know about anybody else, but I can listen to people speak Welsh all day long. All day long. To me, listening to the Welsh language is like a smooth, I don't know, maybe a smooth scotch or smooth bourbon or something along those, in that area for my ears. Oh my gosh, it's a soothing, smooth language. And I could listen, even though I don't know what's being said, I could just listen to it all day long. Anyway, happy stitching, everyone. Thank you for visiting again. If you enjoy this, give it a thumbs up, and hopefully you'll feel encouraged to subscribe, and please check out my sister's videos as well. Thank you. Bye.